What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of my What If Spider-Man Replaced Batman series. Today we are going into the second year of Peter's career. Woo! I'm dropping bars, damn! Anyway, thank you guys for the continued support on this series. For real, it just keeps on coming. I'm just like, damn! People really like this. But without further ado, let's get into what happened between the parts. So where we left off last time, Spider-Man had received a strange green letter addressed directly to him. Inside was a question. So, what does it say? What is the end of everything? Just some freak trying to get your attention. Don't stress it, kid. Gordon left the letter in his hands, as it's not a crime to send a letter. He also has better things to attend to. After all, he is the commissioner now, and his predecessor left a lot for him to clean up. This means that he doesn't really have all that much time for Spider-Man, but he's made sure that there is another Spider-Man can turn to when he is unavailable. Detective John Jones, a recent transfer from Central City, a simple, stoic and silent man whom Peter is able to make fast friends with. Yeah, who am I kidding? Nevertheless, he's proved to be a great detective, and the GCPD really needs all the help it can get. Continuing on, for days Peter had contemplated over the letter's meaning. He had never seen anything like it. He tried to analyze it in Mr. Crane's lab, but there was nothing at all that he could find. He mentioned the question to Barbara, wondering if it meant anything to her. Is that a riddle, Peter? It's a riddle? Well, yeah, I've heard it before, the end of everything. It's G, it's meant to be a trick. With his question answered, he again inspects the letter, together with Detective Jones. Peter carefully peels at the letter G. Under, he finds a location, and later he finds out a crime scene. Jones notes that it's old, weeks old. All that time Peter had spent thinking of the letter meant that the victim spent rotting away. Jones calls Gordon, who now has reason to believe that the letters are more than what they seem. He allows John and Spidey to fully investigate. Over the next few weeks, more and more letters are sent to the GCPD. Each letter contains even more information about the new crime scene, how the victim died, or even how to locate the murder weapon in some cases. John and Spider-Man arrive at every new crime scene, and John begins to formulate an idea. These crimes are happening too frequently, even for Gotham. Stranger yet, no witnesses ever come forward. These letters are the only immediate inclination towards the crime, so John suspects foul play and that this Riddler is to blame. Meanwhile, Riddler is egocentric, mocking Spider-Man with every new letter, that Spider-Man is his inferior and that he's doing the GCPD's job for them. But eventually, he slips up. John is able to catch a lowly thug escaping the scene of the crime. When Gordon arrives, the man fully admits to have setting up the crime scene, as he was instructed to, in very similar looking letters. Now, as I've said before, Peter isn't that great of a detective. I believe his pursuit of Riddler will take him longer than, say, the time that Batman normally would take to catch him. He would most likely overthink the meaning of riddles and try to pursue leads where there are none, essentially being inefficient with his time. But I would credit Peter as being among the smartest in Marvel, so clearly he's not stupid. Spider-Man asks Jones how the letters themselves are delivered to the GCPD, to which Jones has no answer. They just arrive by themselves. The letters have no address listed on them, and no mail carrier delivers the letters. Spider-Man is able to catch up with a few, and none of them have recognized his like. This leads Peter to his final conclusion. The letters are sent from within the building itself. Jones and Spider-Man crack down on the people inside the GCPD, to which Spider-Man is cleverly able to goad the Riddler out of hiding by only insulting his intelligence. I mean, if it were me, I'd probably send the letters from, outside the building I work at. The GCPD staff erupt in laughter, one saying, you're not that bad, kid. However, one person isn't laughing and only seething with anger. He lashes out, only revealing his true nature in a pathetic manner. How dare you! I am your intellectual superior. I bested you on numerous accounts. One of his co-workers tries to calm him down. Nigma, what's gotten into you, man? No, I will not sit here and let him insult me like this. Look upon me, Spider-Man. I am the Riddler, your better version. To which Spider-Man replies, very impressive. After his complete breakdown, the GCPD's forensic scientist Edward Nygma is checked into Arkham Asylum for treatment. As he's ushered away though, Riddler gets one last wording, whispering in Spider-Man's ear, or well, like, the ear that's like covered by his, forget, you get the idea. Gotham, hi. Oh my days, at least like every episode I'm gonna cringe. Those words alarm Peter. He's dangerous, not much of a physical threat, but Spider-Man admits, had he kept his cool, he probably would have never caught him. Now, another villain that Peter had fought during these months, I don't know why I said years in the original script, anyway, is the notorious assassin Deadshot. He claims that he will be the one to kill Spider-Man, and he begins his hunt unexpectedly when Peter is on patrol. Deadshot has planned out this assassination, recognizing Peter's heavy reliance on his web shooters. He disables them from a rooftop far away with a sniper. Peter is now alerted to the assassin. Even with his web shooters blown off, he's still fast and pursues him on foot. However, Deadshot knew that Peter wouldn't be put down so easily. He quick fires bullets, and to his disappointment but better knowledge, Spider-Man easily dodges. Deadshot executes his plan flawlessly, diving into a restaurant and holding a couple hostage. Without his web shooters, Spider-Man cannot disarm Deadshot, and he is forced to give up in order to save the couple. But this act of Deadshot pisses Peter off. Oof! I told you, I never miss. Deadshot prepares to execute Spider-Man via a shot to the head, but Peter dashes forward in the path of the hostages. Deadshot fires a bullet ripping clean through Spider-Man's side, another bullet flailing off into the wind. He grabs both of his wrists, forcing him to spray into the sides of the building. Then Spider-Man grabs Deadshot by the neck, lifting him into the air and then slamming him down into the floorboards, completely shattering them. Deadshot seems to have lost the wind in his lungs as he struggles for breath. The battle seemed to have happened in an instant, brutal and quick. When Peter's rage calms, he notices the wound in his side. Thankfully, by this time Gordon had arrived and Peter was able to get himself patched up. Floyd Lawton is sent to Blackgate Penitentiary. He tells Spider-Man that there was a contract on his head, but refuses to elaborate further. The last thing that I should mention is that Peter would have most likely created a more efficient way of finding crime, such as tapping into police radios as he does in the movies and video games. Something like this he could integrate into his phone or mask, and this wouldn't be too difficult for him, I imagine. And with that, we have covered everything that has happened to Peter during the period between the last episode and this one. Peter Parker is now 17, and he decides to pursue a further role in the world of science to accompany his life as Spider-Man. He gets a recommendation from Mr. Crane to a good friend of his, Dr. Kirk Langstrom. This interest is mainly brought on by his fascination with the science behind his powers and biology. Similarly, Kirk is obsessed with Spider-Man's powers. He believes that if they could somehow perfect the transfer of those animalistic abilities to humans, it could drastically improve the lives of the entire world. He gives an example of giving a human super hearing similar to a bat and how that may aid those with disabilities such as deafness and blindness. Essentially, Kirk is in desperate need of his big break, like Otto Octavius was in the Spider-Man PS4 game. Except here, there is no one breathing down his neck. No one is really expecting anything from him. Kirk is only afraid of his own failures. He wants to prove to himself that he is a true scientist. That's why he's enlisted the help of Peter. Some extra help could really speed things along. Wow, this research is incredible, Doc. I wish you could explain that to my wife. You know, this is way less weird than the stuff I saw Mr. Crane working on. You wouldn't even believe me. Crane's work, he says in a dark tone. Crane's experiments are ridiculous, unscientific. How does fear help human advancement? And yet he finds more successes than me. Hey, come on, Doc. Believe in yourself a little bit more. I think what you're doing here is good, and I want to help in any way I can. As much as Dr. Langstrom praises Crane's scientific mind, it's overtly clear that he is jealous of the man. Crane, who with his long list of achievements, a venerated scientist, chose to teach at a simple high school in Gotham. What a charitable man. However, within his jealousy, there is a hint of truth. Peter thinks that Mr. Crane's work has grown more ominous as of late. When he first discovered his side project, Crane's lab had been infested with spiders, and a student who Peter had known to be arachnophobic was in the center, sitting in a chair and paralyzed with fear. That was the first time that Mr. Crane had taught out Peter for interrupting the experiment and just asking the terrified student if they were okay. From then on, the experiment stopped, but Crane was still stockpiling things in his lab. More spiders, scorpions. He even saw a clown costume tucked away in his closet. Peter guessed it was just anything that contributed to a phobia. Langstrom comes to recognize Peter's genuine talent and scientific ability. Together they make significant progress. However, the doctor's work is clearly taking its toll on his personal life. His wife has stopped visiting the lab. Her last visit was an argument Peter did not intend to overhear. Another visitor was Mr. Crane, who makes frequent visits to the lab, seemingly interested in the work they were doing. And after countless hours, Langstrom is finally able to nail down the specific formula. This is it, Peter. Our effort is finally paying off. He holds the vial in his hand. A cool blue liquid glows within. The next stage in humanity's evolution. In the palm of my hand. This is all you, Doc? Nonsense. I couldn't have never made it this far without you, my boy. Strutting in as usual is Mr. Crane, with the same sly smile that always marks his face. Ah, Crane, you have come at the exact right moment. Look, I have done it. He holds the serum to show Crane, who seems visibly shocked upon the realization. By Jove, Kirk, you've actually done it. You must tell me more. Sensing an opportunity to slip out, Peter quickly gathers his things and prepares to leave to pursue his other interests. Ah, Peter, there you go, disappearing again. I'll let you have this break, but tomorrow we'll need to perform tests. Gotcha, Doc. Thanks. Outside, he takes off his clothes, revealing his spider suit underneath. You know what would be hella awkward, like, if he just takes off his clothes and, like, he forgot to put his Spider-Man suit off, so, like, he's just like... Actually, I think I'm just weird. He takes this night to investigate another strange message he had received. This time from Catwoman, of all people. He descends on one of Carmine's abandoned warehouses. At least, he had thought it was abandoned after he and Dent cleared them out a year ago. Even from outside, he can tell that there's activity within. Crawling inside, Peter sees stacks of art and other things, possibly jewelry. More importantly, goons are prowling the warehouse, lugging around heavy boxes. Why would Catwoman lead him to this? Finally, you've come, Spider. Catwoman calls out from across the warehouse, aware of Peter's sneaky tricks. Catwoman, what is all of this? He drops to the ground to face her. A tabby cat nestles in her arms and she strokes it slowly. Please, these days I go by Selena. On either side, large thugs guard her. You see, after our dear friend Carmine was evicted, I decided I would take over what he left and, do it better. Why would you tell me that? You realize now I'm just going to stop you. Hey, relax. It's not like I've done anything illegal here. What is all of this then? Stolen jewelry? Paintings? You think all of these are stolen? Would you know better than a thief, Spider? Besides, you wouldn't tell. You owe me. I led you directly to Carmine's money, and I helped you put him down. I did not put him... Anyway, it's about time I call in that favor. There's a gang, remnants from last year, the Zucos. They think themselves the next top crime family. Been causing a mess for my men up north. I was hoping you would swing on over there and do some crime fighting. How does that sound? Me? Why can't you do it? I could, but I do have many better things to take care of. This is more of your thing, Spider. I am not doing any of your dirty work, lady. Trust me, kid, this is good for Gotham. Would you rather it be me running things, or another Carmine? Spider-Man sighs. Fine, but anything illegal, and I'm putting you down too, Selena. Oh, I sure you will. Good seeing you, Spider. She waves as he leaps out. Are you sure that was best, Miss Kyle? One of her goons asks. He was bound to run into us sooner or later. Are you questioning me? He shrugs, then shakes his head. Good. So, Spider-Man travels to the location Catwoman, or, well, Selena had described. The Zucos. Spider-Man had heard of them. They're not big or influential enough to be on Carmine's level. They act more as a gang than an organized crime family. He spots the building that Catwoman's goons are working out of. Another one of Falcone's. How many of these did she take over, he wonders. He greets one of Selena's crew. A giant, bald-headed, nasty... Okay, let me check. Oh no, Spider-Man! Alright, relax. Your boss sent me. What is all of this about the Zucos anyway? The guy catches Spidey up to speed. Apparently they've been raiding their storehouses for a while. Sort of like scavengers. They're really doing anything to get money. He leads Spider-Man to one of their usual spots, and he sees men pouring out of a side entrance to a building and loading duffel bags into a van. Spider-Man lands on the roof and greets them. You guys must be the Zucos. Oh no, the Spider-Man! Quite effortlessly, Spider-Man takes out the gang. In the ensuing battle, they scatter, with Spider-Man only able to capture a couple. Inside the bags, he finds weapons and, other stuff. Basically, they were just about to go out on another raid. Catwoman thanks Spider-Man, insisting that his debt was duly paid. However, Spider-Man doubts that will be the last time they meet. When his patrol nears its end, he makes his way back to Langstrom's lab to collect his backpack that he webbed to the roof. He's satisfied when he finds his belongings hastily tucked inside, as he left it. However, something is off about the doctor's lab. For one, he can see light emanating from within the building, and he knows Langstrom doesn't stay this late at the lab. Crawling around outside, he can immediately notice the large gaping hole in the window with the shattered bits of glass inside. He moves into the lab to investigate further, and to his horror, he finds the walls and floor covered in blood. The lab is entirely destroyed. In the center of the room, the mangled corpse of Kirk Langstrom's wife, the sight of which makes him sick, but he has to look closer to see what happened. Scratch and bite marks. It seems like her body was thrown around by something strong. On Langstrom's desk, a broken vial, the one which had contained the serum. Peter realizes that Dr. Langstrom took the serum himself. They were meant to test its effects before it was suitable for human use. Why didn't he wait for him at least? Before these questions can further rack his brain, Peter focuses on the current situation. Where is Kirk right now? He leaps out into the night, and it's not easy as he doesn't know what he's looking for. Tapping into police radios, he cycles through reports until he hears of a giant bat spotted at Gotham Zoo. He arrives on the scene and finds Kirk tearing into animals, consuming their blood. Startled, Kirk takes flight. and above him, Peter can see the grotesque creature he transformed into. His body, for one, has kept mostly human, but his head is twisted and large with stretched out ears. 2 terrible wings sprout out from his arms which keep him airborne. Blood spills out from his mouth and down his chest. Peter uses his webs to launch himself at Kirk. He latches onto his back. The creature screeches, writhes and tears at Spider-Man. Whatever was Kirk only remains as a frightened animal. He webs up the bat, securing it so it cannot free himself. He struggles but manages to take it back to Kirk's lab and begins trying to synthesize a cure. As he helped make it, he can definitely reverse it. All the while, Man-Bat's restraints are failing. The creature escapes and takes vicious swings at Spider-Man, who keeps it back with a flurry of kicks. He grabs the creature in a chokehold and tries to reach Kirk. "Your wife, Kirk! Look at what you did to her!" The creature wails and launches backward, slamming Peter into a wall. It looks at Kirk's wife and screams before looking at Peter and screaming again. It takes flight off into the night, and Peter decides he needs to finish the cure. When it's ready, he once again sets out to find Man-Bat. He mentally notes that he needs to work on trackers. Luckily, Man-Bat is only an animal, and it returned to the place where it found the most food, the Gotham Zoo. Peter attempts to sneak up on the thing, but his sonar hearing keeps it one step ahead. Seems that Kirk's theory was right in the end, he realizes. Spider-Man and Man-Bat descend into one final battle. It's definitely stronger than most he has fought up to this point, able to keep up with Spider-Man's flips and tricks. But Spider-Man is definitely much stronger and more tactical than an animal. It desperately tries to fly away, but Spider-Man catches it with his webs and launches it directly back into the ground. At last, he keeps it restrained while he delivers the cure. The creature panics, then calms, shrinking, Kirk's skin and face returning. What? The doctor struggles to speak, his breath heavy. "It's alright now, doctor." Kirk Langstrom went into a complete mental breakdown when he learned of his wife's fate. Although he was complicit in the crimes, he was not in a right mental state. Therefore, he was sent to Arkham Asylum, for where he will remain. Over the next few days, Peter couldn't wrap his head around Kirk's transformation into the Man-Bat. He treated the serum with such delicacy. He wanted it to work so badly, so why would he take it himself and risk his life's work in that way? Most of all, he wanted proof before it was deemed safe, and so they were going to test it together. Even Kirk's wife had vowed never to come back to the lab. Why did she visit him only on that night? And that is where I'm gonna have to leave it off for today's episode. So it may feel like this one was kind of short, but it's only because Man-Bat wasn't the final boss for this year, if you wanna call it the final boss. There's a whole later part, but I'm going to have to split this year into 2 parts because otherwise it will just get extremely long and it will become like an hour of footage. So be sure to stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I hope you guys did enjoy this one. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe, as it really lets me know that people are willing to come back for this series, so I can keep making more. And if you've made it this far, please take a moment to check out my other videos. They're really great and I put as much effort as I do for these ones. I've been your boy, Polar. Peace.